Let's go. Dano is in the building. What's going on, bro? Life is good. Silicon Valley Bank. Holy moly. Dominoes. Yes, sir. Dominoes. Hey, whoa. What's going on, bro? It's been a minute. Holy moly. What's going on? Life is good. Life is good. The digital asset space is still moving. USDC. Phew, it's all hands on deck right now for Circle. Some suggested that there would never be a depeg of USDC. Some suggested that that would never happen. You want to call out Tether? Call it out Tether. There is no such thing as it will never happen. 87 cents at one time. Holy moly, we gotta get into that. We gotta get into it. This is like an emergency broadcast, man. Like an emergency broadcast. Hey, what is going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege. That's interesting. With another day in the life, in the crazy life. That is the digital asset space. Oh, wow. It is gone. Holy moly, it's gone. Anyway, it is gone. Another crazy life in the digital asset space. I'm telling you, it's just another day in the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Silicon Valley Bank. Toast. It's over. Word on the street is Circle is scrambling, all hands on deck to try to figure some stuff out. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how goes it. We'll see how goes it. Mark Cuban's asking the Federal Reserve to please do something about this madness. I don't know if it's going to happen, fam. I really don't know. Yeah, it would be bad. It's interesting that Ripple has taken a minute now to kind of give us an update of what's going on. Yeah, it would be, yeah. Danny Lowe says, I wonder how Garlinghouse said Ripple had $1 billion in cash on hand. Was it in Silicon Valley Bank that just collapsed? That would be bad. It would be bad. I don't know. Did they have that money spread out through several banks? I would think so. Circle had its money, its stuff spread out through 6 different banks. So we're all we could do is wait for Ripple and Brad to put out the official word, but absolutely amazing. And apparently in 2019, the Moody's people started sounding the alarm about Silicon Valley Bank. And no one listened, apparently. So we got that's going to be some big news from Ripple. We'll see how that goes. We will see how it goes. But I just got to tell you, Circle was the darling child. Now, credit to Circle and Jeremy Allaire. They are all hands on deck. They are providing a certain amount of their reserves so that people can redeem if they need to redeem. So that is cool. Secretary Yellen apparently is like, tell me the size of your bank again. No, we're not doing a bail-in or a bailout. You just like a regional thing? No. You're not AIG or Bear Stearns? No. We're not doing a bailout for you, my friend. Interesting stuff, to say the least. I was listening to a Twitter Spaces, just like Keyless was on a Twitter Spaces. I was listening to one earlier today with Simon Dixon and Mario Mario Nawal, I think his name is. Interesting stuff. I'm going to play some of that with you guys because the reality of the situation is the banking system in the U.S. is, and probably the world, is just one big Ponzi scheme for sure. And we just got to understand that. You got to accept it. Please don't tell me about this FDIC stuff. It's just a mirage. It's a mirage. Right now, they're talking about getting 30 to 50% of your 250. 30 to 50% of the 250. 30 to 50% of the 250. You got to understand the reality of the situation. They're broke. The FDIC is broke and has been broke for a while. We got to stop with that 250K. We got to wake the masses up because they think their funds are safe. It's not. It's just risky. And I get it. You got to find somewhere to put your money. Just understand the risk involved. Just understand the risk involved. It's just the risk involved or the risk involved, man. I mean, it's just the way it is. And you got to figure out a way to keep your money safe for these type of events. And we're talking about the dollar. I just don't know because look, even if you tie something through a crypto wallet that's attached to MasterCard and Visa, maybe you're able to get your whole 250 out. Maybe, I don't know. But it's a very, very interesting sign. Very, very interesting time. We're going to go with the market, man, because the market is doing what it does. But boy, 87 cents. 87 cents, guys. 87 cents USDC went down to 87 cents. And some would make you believe that would never happen because, I mean, after all, USDC, could become the default digital currency for the US. Some suggested that would never happen, the old DPEG thing, but boy, oh boy, did it. Did it happen? Did it happen? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, Monday morning. And here's the interesting thing. I saw an interesting tweet. Danny Lowe says all these companies that go woke, woke up in the morning are going to be broke. That go woke end up going broke. And Silicon Bank is getting into that crap heavy. Oh, really? Well, here's the thing that I know. When they wake up in the morning, it's trouble. There's trouble right now. Someone had a very, very interesting tweet, and I got to say, I kind of agree with it. If they were using ODL, they wouldn't have to wait till Monday. For liquidity. Interesting point. Very, very interesting point. If they were ODL, they would have to be waiting around for liquidity. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that the Fed is going to buy this the uninsured thing? Are they going to buy it? I don't know. Mark Cuban's kind of calling for the Fed to buy the bank and saying that it's not Silicon Valley people, that the vast majority of people are regular people, depositors are just regular everyday Joe and Janes. I don't know, but it's not a great freaking look. What's going on with the real Big Will? Good to see you, bro. Jasper, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. So it's just not a great look, and we got to figure out what's going on. Yeah, because Circle started making some moves about a week ago. That is correct, Danny Lowe. About a week ago, in preparation. That's right. RC is in the bill. What's going on, my friend? The Real Big Will says XRP was used as a solution during the USDC DPEG by Reaper Financial. Well, there you go. That's interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, so right now the word on the street, Keyless, is Secretary Yellen is saying they're not going to do anything. What some people are trying, apparently the Silicon Valley VC people like Mark Cuban are asking, begging the Federal Reserve to take it over, to buy this bank. I don't know. We'll see. And how did how did Reaper Financial use XRP? Craziness right now. I mean, craziness. Let's go with the market, because the market is doing what the market does. We want to cover these numbers and let some more people hop in. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. It's no big deal. If you haven't, just get back onto the thing there. Just hang out real quick, smash that like button, and then come back and hang out, if you will, in the stream. So I refreshed this. I'll refresh it again. But in 24 hours, I want to point out a couple of things. First of all, the total cryptocurrency market cap is down to 976 billion. The Bitcoin dominance is at 40.4%. No alt season with numbers like that for Bitcoin dominance. You can forget that. Bitcoin's trading at $20,392. Ethereum is trading at $1,462, and XRP is trading at 35 cents. In the last 24 hours, how has crypto done in light of the USDC DPEG? Bitcoin's up 1.5%. Ethereum is up 2.4%. And a lot of that is because the USDC or Circle has allowed for a, $1 to USDC into ETH. Yeah, Circle announced that. The BNB token is up 1.1%. USDC, we all know the deal there is DPEG is currently trading at 95 cents. Wow. Polygon's up 6.9%. You look at the top 50 coins according to market cap, and 98 to 99% are in the green. With this whole madness going on with Silicon Valley Bank and this madness that is the DPEG, the cryptos in the last 24 hours are doing okay. People trying to figure out a way to redeem. It's going to be very, very interesting. And I want to cover this just for a bit and kind of get you guys' take. This is a lady who apparently has an account at Silicon Valley Bank. She's an entrepreneur. She has a business that caters to people who are willing to pay $6,000 for her product for party planning. Hi, I'm Lizzie. A bit about me, a Ohio mother of 4. I employ a team of 15 as a startup and founder and CEO of Strong Suit. Drive a Honda Odyssey. Husband works in manufacturing. The financial future of my company, team, and family are at risk with the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. And she's saying here that the collapse of SVB might look like a 1% problem that only impacts the coastal tech elite, and that's not true. This impacts small businesses made up of hardworking people making modest mortgage payments in the Midwest. This impacts parents putting dinner on the table. Yeah, it does. It affects everyone. It affects everyone. But here's the challenge. The bigger picture is always when the entity involved is in so the bank, when the bank responsible for all of this because of their activities affects depositors, shareholders, equity holders, and the like, whether it be Series A, Series B, it doesn't matter, and the depositors, which could become future creditors. Do we excuse the behaviors and actions of the bank by bailing them out because we don't want the depositors to be harmed. And does bailing out just perpetuate the habit and the systemic habit of going out and doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing and getting bailed out for it, right? In other words, does it really excuse your actions? Will regional banks now become systemically important or deemed to be systemically important? Just like the big banks were too big to fail. This is the issue, because no one wants to see the people who are not responsible for the actions of the bank to get hurt. Or is that just a normal risk that you take when you put your money in the bank, when you try to secure funding through banks? I got a question for you, maybe you know. When's the last time an insurance company had a bank run? When's the last time an insurance company had a bank run? You know, I am on the dividend paying cash value policies for the average Joe and Jane. When's the last time you've seen an insurance company kind of go under? According to Watcher Guru, over 200 UK firms won't be able to pay staff due to Silicon Valley Bank collapse. This is what apparently the BBC reports. Not great. So Jason wanted to let the people at Glint, let the people who are Glint holders and, you know, all that stuff, which would be myself, the Glint Pay app. You may have seen in the news that Silicon Valley Bank has collapsed with this failure being overseen by United States and UK regulated. Body blow. Body blow right there. Again, this is a bank that's overseen by both the United States and the UK regulators. And the fact of the matter is they were doing things that they were not supposed to be doing. When I just wonder when the world's going to wake up and realize that when you put $1 in and a bank has $10 to do what it is that they want to do because you put $1 in, when are we going to begin to realize that that does not work? Like, when are we going to say that does not work? And the only way that it's allowed to continue to happen is because people keep putting their money in the banking system. Jason Cousins goes on to say, please be assured that Glint client money is not held with any SVB bank. Now that's interesting, but where is it held? I guess we got to ask that question, because this demise, if it goes through, other banks are affected by this as well. They're all commingled. According to Watcher Guru, United States Secretary, U.S. Treasury Secretary rules out a bailout for Silicon Valley Bank. Yeah. One more thing, then I'll get back to the chat here. Anthony Scaramucci tweeted this out. Anthony is, he's in the crypto and he's kind of long Bitcoin and some other things. He's the founder of Skybridge. He used to work alongside part of the Trump administration at one time as well. Scaramucci says, it isn't a political decision to bail out SVB. Don't make the Lehman mistake. It isn't about rich or poor or who benefits. It's about stopping contagion and protecting the system. Make depositors whole, or expect lots of tragic unintended consequences. John Deaton retweeted that and said, I must admit that I'm torn on this issue. I know some say absolutely no bailout and let it all burn because no one bails out the average Joe when he mismanages his money. At the same time, the contagion and ramifications of doing nothing could prove catastrophic on the average Joe. The uninsured, it will pay uninsured depositors. Okay. Watch a Guru says FDIC says it will pay uninsured depositors at Silicon Valley Bank a percentage of their deposits as an advanced dividend. Here's the thing that I'll say. And Timothy Peterson tweeted this out, and I just agree with him. But let me do this first. Breaking news. Lines have allegedly formed outside of a First Republican Bank branch. Again, that's not SVB, but it's a bank that banks with SVB. Lines have allegedly formed outside of a First Republic Bank branch in Los Angeles, California. I've never seen a bank run in Brentwood, Los Angeles in over 40 years. People are standing in the rain. Charles Gasparini tweeted this out. Silicon Valley VCs and CEOs getting word from the White House that Joe Biden is against any bailout of SVB, like extending deposit insurance well above $250. That could change if the Federal Reserve does believe there is some systemic risk of bank runs, which there is evidence. I'm trying to find that tweet from, I guess I'll just go to his page. And I agree with him on this too when I find it. Let me see. Timothy Peterson says something, and this is just my belief as well. Let's go here, see if we can find his tweet. Oh, there it is. How to safe to participate in a run on your bank. This is what I just got to get people really to kind of get it. Genevieve Rock Dector, she's been doing some really good stuff on Twitter. People lining up to pull money out of First Republic in Brentwood, LA this weekend. Wealthy neighborhood with many uninsured accounts over $250. Many. The bank stock is down 33% in the last week. Is this what the start of a bank run looks like, right? Tim says, here's how FDIC insurance works. There is no insurance. The government literally prints money out of thin air and sends you a check or wires the deposit to another bank, which is the latter is what happens. They just kind of send you over to another one in hopes that the rest of you won't try to get your money at the same time and create another bank run. What happens when one part of the government increases the money supply at the same time another part of the government is trying to decrease it? What happens to prices when liquidity is frozen? What happens to markets when faced with uncertainty? There's trillions of dollars in deposits and about 100 and something billion maybe in FDIC. How are you gonna fix that problem? How are you going to fix that problem? Right? How are you going to fix that? I hope people are really beginning to wake up to this whole idea of the FDIC thing. And people they feel a little helpless because, like, where do you put your stuff? And that's not really the question. I'm beginning to learn more and more, and let me know if you agree with me. I'm beginning to learn more and more. It's not about where you put your stuff. It's about what is the stuff that you hold. What's the stuff that you hold? That's the question. RC's made says maybe Ripple will buy. Well, Ripple apparently has got some issues that they haven't disclosed yet. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. RC says, Jasper says, please hit that like button. There you go, Jasper. Thank you. The problem is, where's Ripple keeping their money? We know that some of it is in Silicon Valley Bank. We just hope that it is not the vast majority of that $1 billion that it has on hand. We don't see Ripple's going through enough stuff already. That's right. Danny Loaf is right. The only thing that happened with bailouts in 2008 was bigger bonuses for CEOs and board members, but didn't fix the problem, just prolonged it 1,000%. Didn't fix it. And that is the challenge with people. And people don't want to go through the pain necessary to make the change. And here's what I'll tell people. My mentor told me this years and years ago when I was a teenager. He said, Siege, when the pain of staying the way you are becomes greater than the pain to change, then you'll change. And that has to happen. The pain has to become so great that the banking model decides that we got to change it. It has to be changed. I was listening to a Twitter Spaces. One guy believes that this is going to cause a contagion very, very similar, and if not worse than the 2008 crisis. We'll see. We'll see if there will be a liquidity freeze or not. We'll see. What's going on, Alex G? Good morning to you, bro. Good morning, Siege. Not working. I am in a soccer game. Nice. My oldest kid is playing. SVB is doom, and it is going to cause a domino effect. I agree. I agree with you, Alex. I do believe it is. We'll see what the Federal Reserve does. If the Federal Reserve steps in and buys and does whatever people are asking it to do, decides to buy the bank, decides to meet the needs of the uninsured over 250,000, we'll see. Yeah, think about that. Danny Lowe says that the SVB was calling the police on customers because they wanted to withdraw their funds. What BS? What kind of crap is that? What's going on, Michael O2? Pookie's in the building. Good to see you. What up with you, my friend? Right. So Michael O2 says gold and silver. So I asked that question. It's not really where you're putting your stuff. It's what stuff do you own? That is really the deal. It's really the deal. What do you own? And this big geopolitical war, let me share something with you, because this is geopolitical fight that's going on, right? We understand that we're in crypto. Like, there's a macro picture that the masses don't have any idea what's going on. The fight right now is over the world reserve currency in the US dollar. And the fight is because crypto, the reason why there's a fight is because digital asset space got started by Bitcoin. We all know that. When Bitcoin became a new form of money, it challenged the dollar. And it challenged the dollar because, not because it's going to replace the dollar. It challenged the dollar because it gave you and I another choice of money besides the dollar. Besides the dollar. As a new form of money. Gold and silver is here. But, banks are good. Banks and central banks are good with gold. Why? Because they got gazillions of it. So it ain't a threat. to the dollar. It's not a threat to the banks. But this Bitcoin thing, this new form of money and the idea behind it, the peer-to-peer, the only 21 million, the lack of this printing more of it, right? This deflationary asset. These are choices. This becomes a new choice for you and I. And what the powers that be have done in the US is they're trying to get rid of it somehow. They're trying to get rid of it. And it's not Bitcoin, the asset, it's the monetary policy and the idea of it. That is the challenge. Because the challenge right now is, well, in addition to the dollar thing, it's how the dollar thing was used. That's really the greatest problem. When we decided that we were too big to fail and we were going to decide to weaponize it and flex our muscles with the hegemony and, bring in the SWIFT thing, other nations began to become tired of such a thing. And now, prior to 2008, the other nations didn't have another choice, this other thing, this other ecosystem to go into. You got to get it. The other nations realize that this is a new asset class, and they have a chance to be number one in the asset class, ahead of the powers to be here in the US. They have a chance to be number one because it's such a global thing, because Bitcoin and the digital asset space is a global thing where you and I can participate. These other nations, like, for example, like Portugal was at one time super great on crypto, not as great, but still great, like the St. Kitts and Nevis. These other nations have an opportunity to bring us in, to have us participate in their economies. We didn't have that before. St. Kitts and Nevis didn't have that opportunity before. Portugal did not have that opportunity. The Saudi Arabia, UK, UAE, Dubai, they didn't have that opportunity. Singapore didn't have that other opportunity to compete. Now they do. And powerhouses like, that nation with the orange, red flag thing or whatever they are, right? They realize it. Yep. That's the deal right there. Well, Alex Yeet is like, what if Ripple becomes the SVB Bank of Silicon Valley? Well, Ripple's got to figure out what's going on with their cash. Well, no word from Ripple right now how what kind of position, what's their position with SVB. I would imagine that it's not a big number. It is odd that it's taking a while. Now, it may be because it's the weekend. Maybe they can't get the appropriate data that they need. I don't know. But again, this is what happened because this is what the U.S. did to themselves. If they would have just hung, rest their laurels on the reserve currency thing, cool. But when we made a decision to weaponize, right? When we made that decision to go that route, that's where a lot of the problems came. Even the Bank of England and UK have acknowledged that. They may say it politically and just talk about the dollar, but in the end, it's how the dollar it was being used that caused the problems. Michael says JP Morgan will bail them out like last time. We'll see. That could be interesting. So we'll see how that goes, but that's a big deal. Gary Morgan, what's going on, bro? It's starting, see. Is KuCoin and Bitrue tied to Silvergate or Silicon Valley? I've noticed Banxa is not available as an on and off ramp. Well, USDC with Coinbase, and I'll say this, Coinbase and Binance have halted the USDC to the dollar thing. You have to go through Circle themselves to redeem your dollar. So I would imagine that all these banks are tied into the likes of SVB. These banks, these little small startups, et cetera, UK small startups as well. So it's all tied to SVB. So that's the issue, and that is the challenge. But let me have you guys listen to this. This is very, very interesting from Simon Dixon from Bank to the Future. Oh, hopefully I still have it. Yeah, I do. Yeah, okay, good. Let me share that. And another guy called The Faith Tribe. Interesting back and forth.
You know, US tends to work off a billionaires rule the country. You know, people talk about the difference between China and America. China operates off, once you become a certain net worth, you become part of the government. In America, once you become a certain net worth, you rule America. And so Silicon Valley is obviously a very high concentration of the wealthiest people that pull the strings. Now, what kind of influence do they have over policymakers? It will become, I think, instrumental. I've always said that there is never going to be a bailout again, because bail-in will be the new bailout until they have a central bank digital currency. And then once they have a central bank digital currency, it will become a war on banks where CBDCs allow banks to go bust. And then you end up with a wallet with your CBDC. And I think it's too early to do that in the US. But if we were in China right now, they would be prepared for this, and banks could go bust. And they could use this as a mechanism for determining the supply of their CBDC in order to bail out the system and deleverage from fractional reserve banking. I think we will see that. I think this is going to accelerate that, because this is the only solution to a ginormously over-leveraged economy that's built upon fractional reserve banking.
Right. So, Simon, my pushback is everything you said is accurate.
And this is The Faith Tribe. And he says everything that you said is accurate. What he's correcting Simon on is the bailout thing, because he's saying that the bigger banks are doing bailouts. It's these regional banks, if you will, that aren't going to get the bailouts. But, you know, he says that Credit Suisse, in fact, did get a bailout. But I do want to point out and kind of share with you guys that it's a massively important point that if something happens and it becomes a major financial situation, the CBDC can be a solution for the banks and the central banks. And the central banks understand that. And the central banks are preparing for what they know is, and I believe, an inevitable financial crisis in which the banking model will get a revamp. It'll be something completely different. That's why we say in the channel all the time about the war, right? The war amongst the banks. And it's going to be the central banks to commercial, regional banks, if you will. This war on more relevance, if you will, in the banking system.
The only thing is, the people who are getting hurt are the people not going to make payroll next week on the 15th, because all the payroll money flowing through SVB is now frozen. I will tell you there are lots of bailouts. Credit Suisse was bailed out in October. The SMB used a huge mammoth 20 billion swap line with the New York Fed. That was a bailout. JP Morgan was bailed out October 2018 with the whole repo financial crisis, right? When they went in and had to reverse QT in order to make sure that the repos didn't implode. So there's plenty of bailouts for the big. You know, when it comes to FTX people, when it comes to these startups that are starved for capital, fighting and busting their ass every single day, had no choice but to go to SVB, because that's where the fund was located, or that's where they get their startup loans tied in, and it's a conditioned precedent to have your deposits there. These guys did nothing wrong.
And see, that's the challenge. Now this is a guy called Faith Tribe, saying the challenge is that these startups are going to the bank for capital. And one could argue that they feel like they're compelled to do so, but that's not the reality of the situation. I'm going to ask this again because I don't think I saw any answers. When's the last time you heard of a insurance company, and I'm talking the major insurance company, or just the industry of insurance, having a financial crisis? The industry of insurance. Keyless, have you heard of it? Danny Loeb, have you ever heard of the insurance industry? I'm talking about the industry, right? So you got the industry, and then you may have people who participate in the auto insurance business, and they have auto insurance businesses. Then you got life insurance businesses, and then you got home insurance businesses. But the insurance industry, not the subs of the insurance industry, the insurance industry. When's the last time you heard of an insurance industry crisis? Let me know in the chat. When's the last time you heard of that? Very curious. When's the last time you heard of an insurance industry crisis? Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of an insurance industry crisis? Felix is like, heck no, the insurance industry is another cartel in America next to the government. No crises there. No crises. If you never heard of a financial crisis in the insurance industry, right? Never. Shrap knows what's going on, my dude, says never. Did you know that the vast majority of the auto industry, car dealerships, auto industry, their financing dollars comes from the insurance industry? Like, you go get this nice BMW, let's say you get that X6 with the M50, works put on it. Nice, sweet. That BMW is sweet. And you go there and you do your financing through the dealership. You think you're doing that through the dealership. Oh, no. You're not doing it through the dealership. The dealership goes to the insurance industry to get blocks of money. And they may get it at 2 or 1 or 2%. And they're charging you 3, 4, 6, 7, 8%. And then they take that money that you've given them to pay the 1 to 2% back to the insurance industry. That is a factamundo. Keyless is like, seriously? Yeah. They buy blocks of money from insurance companies because the insurance industry is by far the most conservative and most well-funded industry in the history of finance. They own all kinds of stuff, all kinds of real estate, commercial or otherwise. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So I came to the realization that I could go to the bank for access to capital, right? Like Faith Tribe was saying, these people are beholden to the bank because in order to get capital, they got to do all their funding and their business through the bank, payroll, deposits, all of that, beholden. But the bank is in a massive trilemma. Their model is broke. So think about trying to get capital from a model that is broken. It's broke. So when you go in to go get your $250,000, you can't get it. Because the model's broke. It's broke. And if you entrust your startup company, you're taking dollars from this bank and you putting it in your company, and you're having to use that money to fund your business and or your payroll, you and your employees have now become beholden to a broken model. Shrapnel, thanks, my friend. Shrapnel says, I'm going to watch all your early vids soon. I appreciate that, bro. So just think about that. This is why I always say it's like a lie. It's one of the biggest frauds perpetuated on its citizens. The banking model, this guise of FDIC, it's a lie. It's a big time lie. But here's the other part of the lie. So you got the lies being perpetuated, right? Because you got to understand who owns the media. Please understand who owns the media. Just remember that there's a reason why it's called the banking cartel. Like you got to get the bank financial system is running the world. It's taken over. It runs the world. So they can buy the media so that the media can put out the narrative that the bank and financial industry wants. That's why Jim Cramer lives today. He lives today, right? I'm waiting for the person that's going to take him to jail, or take him to court and sue him for misrepresentation. I'm waiting for it. I'm just waiting to see if it'll ever happen. I doubt that it ever will, but we'll see. I doubt that it ever will, but we'll see. Thanks, Rapsnels. Yeah, right. So XRP Bags music video. I didn't know I was an XRP Bags music video. Did I? I don't think I knew that. I knew about blockchains, blockchain monkeys page. I knew about that one, but I didn't know about XRP Bags music video. Well, maybe I did. Maybe I did play that. I think he had me in a segment or something. All right, Mr. Crypto Seas is okay. Good. So what do, right? So you got the lie being perpetuated on the systems, and then it's a lack of knowledge, knowing that there are other places for access to capital where you don't have to put everything at risk. This Crypto C says hello. Yeah, I think I do remember that. Yeah. I think Keyless is like, yes, you are Siege. You forgot we talked about it in one of your videos. Yeah, it's been a long time. Yep. I do remember now. I think we did like a series of different content creators and did their stuff. So, right? I mean, the lack of knowledge is the other thing. Lack of knowledge is the other thing. So I say that I bring up the insurance industry just to pay attention to it. Just learn, if you will. My recommendation is read the book, Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. Just like read that book. Read it. And get the real big picture on what's really going on. Once you do, once you get that concept, you get the concept and you get that there's one pool of money. Once you sit back and you say, he's right. There is only really one pool of money. Now, it might be a lot of hands in the pool, but there is really only one pool of money. And once you get that, you'll go on the journey like Crypto Seas has and becoming his own banker. Once you get it, once you understand it, it's powerful because you know that you can access capital without the risk of fractional reserve banking. Let me say that again for the fam, for the crypto fam. You can access capital without the risk of being exposed to what Simon Dixon calls the biggest Ponzi scheme ever perpetuated on its citizens. This is the fractional reserve banking. Can you imagine that? Getting access to capital without being exposed to the biggest Ponzi scheme ever created. Once you understand that, I'm telling you, its life is good. What did I miss? I had to step away, says Danny Loves. Keela says, C's just waiting for Kramer to get sued, Danny. That's all you missed. Oh. All right, buddy. Take care, Shrapnels. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. So that is the deal there, guys. And it's it's a big thing. And I wanted to tie those two things together because we have to level up. And I know I covered this, back in the day when I was doing the Generational Wealth series on Wednesday, but it's just important to understand that there is a mechanism, there is a door, there's a lane for you and I to access capital and growing something, access capital to a new idea that we might want to finance, access capital to become a solo entrepreneur, whatever it is, access to capital without the exposure to the biggest Ponzi scheme ever perpetuated on its citizens. It's a big deal. And especially in light of what's going on right now with Silicon Valley Bank. Important stuff, guys. This important stuff for sure. So I did want to cover that, and I wanted to let's see if there was one more thing. We got to wait for Ripple. Look, the XRP ledger is the XRP ledger, right? Ripple is a company leveraging the XRP ledger, but it's not the only one. So it's important to understand that. And we just pray, we pray because we're a fan of the company, the fintech company out of California, Southern California, Ripple. We pray that they don't have massive exposure. We pray. My guy Simon Dixon would say Bitcoin's the answer. I would just have you ask yourself this question: what do you hold? It's not where you hold it, it's what do you hold? There's a bunch of people at this bank that hold dollars that's about to become 50 to 30% less. It's about what you hold. If it wasn't, why would fine art have value if it wasn't about what you hold? If it wasn't about what you hold, why would gold have value? It's ultimately about what you hold. What do you deem as a valuable asset? I think that the digital asset space is here for a reason. I think there's a reason why Bitcoin hasn't gone to zero. And maybe we should start asking ourselves, why won't this thing go to zero? It hasn't so far. Is the jury out that it won't? No, but it hasn't so far. And I believe that the powers that be are trying to figure out a way to stronghold it, but it can't because of a broken monetary policy system that we have here in the States that has been exposed for what it is. It's madness. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. It has been a really, 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 really cool hang. Let me say. Okay, I don't know why that started playing, but let's get that back. It's been a really, really cool hang. Danny Lowe from Keyless, thank you so much for checking in. Scrapnos, I appreciate you checking in, my friend. Miss Crypto C's, I love you, baby. And Michael O2, thank you for checking in. Pookie, Alex Heat, appreciate you guys checking in this morning. Like RC, as always, appreciate you being here. The Real Big Will. Dano, I appreciate you guys all checking in. Thank you so much for hitting that like button. If you're hanging out and haven't taken a chance to subscribe to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, right? Subscribe to that channel. We want to break that 10,000. We want to break that shadow ban that's on this channel because we're just sharing the simple truth. We're going to break that shadow ban together. We can break it so we can get this channel out to more people so that we can turn them on to this new asset class that's being built right underneath their nose. And you can do that by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. We got to let them know we need a new 1% in the worst way. We need a new 1% in the worst way, guys. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to end this video like I do all of my videos. Let me go here. Let me do this here by reminding you guys of this.
Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it.
I'll talk to you soon, guys.